Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at Boltund V. You see, Boltund V is a card that I've had a lot of correspondence about. A lot of people have been asking me about Boltund V and wanting to talk about Boltund V, asking whether it is in fact gonna be good. I'm fairly sure the answer is yes. It has been doing a bunch of winning over in Japan, and we're actually seeing a couple of different lists over in Japan where it's seeing a little bit of play and a little bit of love. So this is probably a good time to actually sit down, take a look at exactly how this all works. So Boltund V then, what can we say about it? Well, starting off, really the good attack here is 1 lightning, 1 colorless energy, lightning storm. This attack does 30 more damage for each lightning energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Very much like Raichu in that regard. You do extra damage for all lightning energy attached to all of your Pokemon. It's a good attack with a lot of potential if you can get your energy on the field. Now there is another attack here which is moderately useful, especially in a Boltund deck. 1 lightning energy, search your deck for 2 lightning energy and attach them to your benched Pokemon in any way that you like. It's fine, but I'll be honest with you, you're having to leave a 2-prize Pokemon in the active at risk of getting KO'd in order to do this might not be something you want to do all that often. So really the question then becomes, alright, so what are we doing in terms of peppering energy down onto the field in order to actually do some winning? And the thing is, well, I've actually got 2 different decks. One of them is a little bit less exciting to me, and one of them is a little bit newer and a little bit different and a little bit more exciting to me. Now the less exciting list is just Pikachu and Zekrom. Pikachu and Zekrom is an amazing deck. It has been an amazing deck since it came out. It remains an amazing deck. Now, specifically here, Pikachu and Zekrom is crazy good because, of course, you can just accelerate energy. Like, Full Blitz does 150 for free energy and accelerates free energy. That's pretty gosh darned ridiculous. And of course, this is really good because of the Thunder Mountain Tapu Koko combination, whereby Thunder Mountain Prism Star reduces your attack cost by 1. Tapu Koko Prism Star accelerates an energy from the discard to one of your Pokemon, actually to 2 of your Pokemon. And then that essentially gives you free energy turn 1 to start using Full Blitz. So what you can do here is essentially Full Blitz a bunch of times and then come in and destroy with Boltund. That sounds like fun. And that deck obviously plays Pikachu and Zekrom. It plays the Dedenne GX for, well, a little bit of extra consistency, shall we say. It plays Zero Aura, which gives free retreat, although the other deck plays that better, more on that in a minute. And Raichu and Alolan Raichu is another really good attacker, plus 160 and automatic paralysis if you became active this turn. Well, let's just say that's pretty gosh darn good. But it also does play 1 copy of Dubwool, and I think this is something we should get used to seeing in a bunch of decks moving forward. Dubwool, for free energy, does 120 base, plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. Especially in a format with Reset Stamp, where you can put your opponent down to a very small hand. And then, if your opponent's got 1 prize card remaining, you Reset Stamp them down to 1 hand and then start hitting 270 with Dubwool, that's going to lead to a lot of wins. And at one point during the game, you just Full Blitz onto Dubwool. There, done, you've got the energy. Although, to be fair, and I know I usually do trainers after Pokemon, but we need to mention Energy Switch as a thing here. Energy Switch is great in a deck like this for fairly obvious reasons. Plus, we also have Tag Switch to move 2 energy from a tag team rather than 1 energy from any Pokemon. And you can get Dubwool going in 1 turn fairly easily. Of course, I mentioned Dedenne earlier. I should mention Electromagnetic Radar. If you are playing a bunch of EXs and GXs, Electromagnetic Radar becomes kind of a no-brainer. And this deck, Boltund V, just slides in. Doesn't have to be the focal point, though it can be. And to be fair, this list I'll show you at the end does play 3 copies of Boltund. But you can play it as a Pikachu and Zekrom deck. And you can go aggro Raichu and Alolan Raichu. But Boltund is there if you need him. The thing is, Boltund is good when you have lots and lots of energy on the field. But if you've got free energy out, you do 90 damage, it's not that good. It's when you get lots of energy it becomes good. Now the other list, this is the one that excites and interests me. Because it is full on Boltund. Full on Boltund. You play 4 of them with Dedenne GX and Tapu Koko, which is to be expected, and Mew to protect your bench. But then you play 2 copies of Zero Aura, and at this stage, Zero Aura GX isn't just in there for the free retreat it can grant you, it's in there for the GX attack. GX attack attaches 5 energy from your discard to your Pokemon in any way you like. This becomes a huge part of the game. Now, to be fair, it's also got the free energy 160, which you may well need, given the whole, if you've not got much energy out thing. But you actually want the GX attack here, and it is built around the GX attack. 5 energy is 150 for Boltund here, that's pretty good. And then it plays Naganadel. And Naganadel accelerates 1 energy from the discard pile to itself, 1 per Naganadel per turn. And between Naganadel and Zero Aura's GX attack and Tapu Koko Prism Star, all of a sudden we're getting a lot of energy on the field very, very quickly. And it becomes kind of amazing, if I'm honest with you. Now, to be fair, there is actually a third list. I'll show you at the end. It's a Pikachu and Zekrom list, and it plays Raichu and Alolan Raichu and Zero Aura. The one big change here is that it does play Jirachi for a little bit of extra consistency, and Marshadow as a counter to any stadiums that your opponent might play. It's fine. That'll do, pig, I suppose. Now, in terms of trainer cards, I mentioned it a minute ago, but I really do need to give a shout out to Energy Switch. Because I'm going to show you 3 deck lists in a minute, and they all play multiple Energy Switch. Energy Switch becomes a thing. Because essentially what you're doing is putting a lot of energy on the field, and then smashing. And the other thing is that actually, if you've got the free energy attacker, I'm looking Pikachu and Zekrom, Zero Aura, etc., then all of a sudden Energy Switch becomes way better because you accelerate 2 energy with Tapu Koko, and then you can either attach from your turn or Thunder Mountain, Prism Star, or Energy Switch. You need 2 of the 3 rather than having to hit an energy and a Thunder Mountain. You can whiff the Thunder Mountain but hit an Energy Switch and you're good to go. Energy Switch is great, as is Electromagnetic Radar. Generally, these lists tend to play Zero Aura and Dedenne and maybe Pikachu and Zekrom, but you also need to get energy in the discard for Zero Aura and for Tapu Koko, so being able to, and for Naganadel in fact, so being able to discard that energy is pretty gosh darned good. Now, the Boltund list that really is built around Boltund does play Acrobike, to give you that little bit of extra speed and consistency while not worrying about discarding energy, because you are playing from the discard a lot more than the other lists. And obviously then Quick Ball becomes amazing in all of the decks. There's a lot of basics. Quick Ball becomes absolutely brilliant. We like Quick Ball. We also really like Electro Power. Lets you do an extra 30 damage. Electro Power tends to be kind of a 4 of in most Lightning decks at the moment. Don't be terribly surprised to see it here. We do actually see one of the decks playing Stadium Nav here, purely because of how gosh darn good it is to have Thunder Mountain turn 1. Just gives you a pretty good chance to hit it. Now, Volkner is obviously a phenomenal card because it gets you an energy, a lightning energy, and an item card. Very, very good in lightning decks. And other than that, it's largely what you would expect. Well, 2 of the decks here play Custom Catcher, but 1 plays Pokemon Catcher. Custom Catcher, Gus Anything if you play 2 at the same time. Pokemon Catcher, Gus Anything if you can flip a heads, which is not a given. 1 of the lists plays Giant Charm. Actually, no, 2 of them play Giant Charm, I lied to you. Just to give you a little bit of extra HP and a little bit of extra beef. And there's not too many other themes around them. You can play these decks a little bit differently. Professor's Research does tend to see play in some of them, but then even then, not all of them. 2 of the 3 lists go heavy on Professor's Research. Discard your hand, draw 7. But not all of them do. Yeah, it's not the same in every deck list, ladies and gentlemen. But isn't that kind of fun? I'm alright with that, if I'm honest with you. I'm alright with that. Here's the first list, the one that, well, I'm calling it the first list, the one built around Boltund really as your main attacker. This is the one that really interests and excites me. I do worry it's going to be a bit slow getting the energy out, but that's something for testing to figure out. Here is the first Pikachu and Zekrom list, the one that plays Dubwool. This is my favourite of the 2 Pikachu and Zekrom lists, and we can see there we've got a fairly consistent deck. We've got Marnie and Volkner rather than Professor's Research, couple of Giant Charm, and then we've got your Quick Ball and your Custom Catcher and your Electro Power, and going quite heavy on energy switching cards as well. And the final list here is another Pikachu and Zekrom list, the one that tends to play Jirachi and Marshadow, but in terms of the trainer line, there's not a huge amount here, though we do have one great catcher, which is there just for gusting EXs and GXs. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Is Boltund V legit? Oh, you bet your bottom dollar it is. It is a good card. It is seeing some winning. And if I'm being able to show you a free winning deck list right now, week 1, you can probably only imagine there's going to be a lot more to come in the future. But I'd like to know what you think about Boltund V. I'd like to know how you would play it and which of these lists is your favourite and how many legs you think it's got, how good you think it's going to be by the end. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are phenomenal nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.